am the life coach.
Hi, welcome. I'm Leticia from Coaching with Leticia, and I'm thrilled to have you join me on this journey today. My motto is innovate your business, elevate your life. So whenever you listen to my podcast, either one of those topics will apply. Now, today's focus is elevating your life, speaking specifically on Black men and their mental health, and also touching on their place in society. Now, my podcast is really, really unique because what I like to do is link relevant theories to the topic in question. So, for example, today we'll be looking at the cognitive triangle, and Erikson's theory suggests that your ego identity develops throughout your entire life during 8 specific stages. But before we delve into this topic, I would like to welcome my new and current listeners to continue to share, like, and subscribe. And remember, you can listen to my podcast on YouTube and Spotify, and I'm also on TikTok and Instagram. So today I have a very, very special guest here. He goes by the name of Gavin, but also GM, the life coach.
Yeah, you got it right.
I got it right this time.
Yeah.
He's got his own business. He's an entrepreneur. He is inspiring to the community as well. And he's going to tell us a little bit about himself. Go for it.
Hi. Yeah. Hi. So I'm GM, the life coach. I have done various things in my life. Currently, right now, I'm doing community coaching, one-on-one coaching for basketball. I have my own podcast called GM the Life Coach Podcast as well, which I want to make sure I plug. So right here.
The branding.
Yeah, branding. And I also will be going into different areas as well, some of which we'll talk about later on. But that's mainly the most of what I'm doing now.
I love that. And thank you so much for coming today. I know obviously you could have been doing your own thing, but instead you've come to join me and speak about this topic, which is really a big passion of mine, because having a son, I'm always mindful of how he's going to grow up seeing himself in society and his influences. So just quickly touching on the cognitive triangle, it visually represents the interconnectedness of thoughts, emotions, and behavior. And it illustrates how thoughts influence your emotions, lead into actions that in turn affect your thoughts, creating a continuous cycle. Okay, so this cycle persists without intervention to disrupt the pattern. So just thinking about that, what do you feel, Gavin, are the most common mental health challenges faced by Black men today?
I personally feel it's my own experience.
Yeah, of course.
But I personally feel that knowing their place. We spoke about a little bit about this earlier on today.
Yeah.
But knowing their place, as in where some women are sort of stepping into the space of men. And sometimes it can be hard to, navigate that situation, that position. They're worried about money, and especially the brackets of how much to earn is getting like astronomical. Like for someone to be happy, it's gone from I can earn 20,000, they can earn 25,000, and it's jumped all the way to like 50,000. It's like and in America, it's even worse. Some people are talking about 100,000 and all craziness. So,
so can I ask? Sorry to interrupt you. Where are you getting these figures from? What are you seeing online to kind of influence these?
Wow,
these figures. I haven't heard of this before. To be fair,
never heard of this before?
No.
Okay. So I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube. There's a lot of discourse that's happening between males and females, particularly in America. Some of it is spilled over here, and their thing is that men have kind of given up on women, basically, because women have asked too much in terms of how much they should earn. Are you looking at me like
yeah?
Too
Because
much?
I'm thinking, are you talking about a specific show that you've seen?
I've seen a couple shows that I watch, and there's male and females. So there's like a male show. He always shows he'll like narrate podcast that's happening,
right,
and he'll stop it and put his point across. Right. Then you've got one where women are doing the same thing, looking at the women are actually making sure that women are accountable for their actions in that procedure as well. So it's a lot of it is about finding a place when, particularly when it's a new situation when a lady has kids already and trying to fit in within that situation. The woman asking the man to earn a certain amount of money.
Wow.
To be able to even come within that situation.
I see. Do you know what? I heard a really funny story. This is a true story. I saw it online. I know you shouldn't believe everything you read online, but I did, and I believed it.
Yeah.
So this woman was asked out on a date, and she went on the date, but she told the man she wanted him to order extra food so she could take it back for her kids. What's your thoughts on that? I'm not saying whether that's something that you would do. Do you feel that she's a bit out of order?
Yeah.
I think so too. I think that's a bit.
Like, you know, I'm looking at the figure like, whoa, hold on a minute.
It's like,
I would be like, listen, I know. I'll be look, your kids might listen to it. I mean, it depends. Every situation is different. You know, did she do a sob story before? And you know, she get with the violins out. She like, you know, like Bobby ain't got no cereal, so you know, you have no breakfast this morning, no dinner. So it depends, but I personally would be like, I think that's a bit too much.
I think on a date, I don't feel that the responsibility, especially if you haven't really chosen to commit to this person, but then I feel like you said, like there was a huge expectation of, well, you need to provide for me. If you provide for me, you have to provide for my kids. And oh my gosh, I went straight into an American accent. What does that say? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I went straight into it. So that it kind of just, I get it, because I would never expect, especially on a first date, because I believe that obviously before a man commits to you, he assesses the situation. That's my belief. Yeah. So if a woman has children or has things like, they would assess, okay, can I provide for the children first of all, or the child or whatever, and can I provide for this woman as well and be her care, you know, look after her, nurture her, provide for her.
For me, it's like it's a big judgment thing. I think dates in itself, for me, I get anguish.
Why?
Over dates, man.
Why?
Because it's the expectation level.
What's the expectation?
The expectation is the man should pay for all of it. And the woman should never pay.
Now, okay, we've clearly gone off topic, but this is good because
it's all part of the same thing.
I personally don't agree with that, and I know I'm gonna get hate from the ladies. It is what it is. I'm grown, so it is what it is. I don't care. I'm grown. I don't believe that a woman should expect a man to pay. I believe that should be either a conversation before, or I understand. I'm coming. Let me land. I understand when men say, right, okay, what I've heard is that if a man asks a woman on a date, then they should pay. I understand that. I understand that logic. But I also feel...
What time ain't like that though? What time the woman's like, when you can take me out? So the woman's like, when you taking me out? So the woman's already saying...
Yeah. That she's like,
so then she's like, but I want you to pay for the date that I must like, and you must jump into my head and find out what it is. In that situation, as a man, you need to assess the situation and decide whether you're taking her or not. Me personally, I'm like, sorry to come mute, but me personally, I'm okay with, if anyone knows me personally, I'm a Groupon girl. Do you get me? I'm happy to go on Groupon and look for archery or look for things and do activities, and I will not shame you. But you're what's known as a nice girl, a nice lady.
Oh, I see some of the category.
With some high chest.
Well, then you assess the situation and decide how you want to move forward.
But you find that the majority of them, ladies, would want you to pay the big money and whatever. That's what you'll find. Then
you assess the situation, because obviously there's times, if I'm in a relationship with somebody, there are times I want to be treated sweet. Of course, I don't want to group on it. Let's not group on that, babes. You look after me.
That's fine.
It's your turn.
Yeah, that works.
Get me? That's fine. But if I'm not in a relationship with you, I don't have that expectation.
So do you? So I've had lots of these conversations loads of times about, on the first date, should it be 50-50? I personally feel like
it needs to be discussed.
I think it should be discussed, but I think it should be 50-50. I'm to the point where you're concrete.
I think it should be discussed. I don't think that anyone should come in with expectations. I feel that there needs to be a level of maturity and a communication of, do you know what? What do you want to do? I don't feel uncomfortable talking about money, and I think that's another thing. And it's a case of, if we're going to a restaurant and the bill is £100, me personally, I feel some type of way. Even if the man could pay for it, I'll be like, do you know what? Let me just cover the drinks. And he might turn around and be like, don't be silly. And I'm like, okay, cool.
You happily though.
No, but
You're assessing
Off
him.
mic, we'll talk about what happens after.
All right. Okay. We'll X-rated version. All right, cool.
Check.
All right.
Oh my God. So yeah, your mum watching. Hi, mum. I love you.
She said it, not me. I didn't say it.
But yeah, I see how that can affect men, especially nowadays, in dating, in their mental health, in their place as a role.
And that's what I mean. And that's what I'm saying. It's the expectation before anything's even said or done. Expectation, the pressure is already there.
Yeah.
For that man to already be like,
be the provider.
I've got to be like, yeah. I've had spoken to ladies about they've gone out on dates and left their purse in their yard. Yeah. Right. You know, like that.
I hear
very
that.
Comments. Yeah. But they weren't. There's no intention to pay. No intention to pay whatsoever.
I've got friends like that, and I don't judge them. What I'm saying is, there has to be a conversation. I personally, because obviously, what you don't want is to put yourself in a predicament where a man's paying and he's expecting something. You understand what I'm saying? So I do feel there's nothing wrong with having a conversation and saying, do you know what, babes, or do you know what, hun, or do you know what, whatever your name is. I'm comfortable going halves. Do you get me? And then as the woman, in my opinion, you decide whether or not you would go on a date again with him. Do you understand what I'm saying? You'll decide, do you know what? He likes to go halves. I'm not interested. You could do that. You have the power to do that.
Would you ever, on a first date, take the guy and pay for the first date yourself?
Why? You have no idea what I've done on my dates. I've been amazing.
Oh my God.
Anyone that I take on a date, what good times? Hello?
Okay.
Put it in the comment.
Okay, all right.
Those that's been on a date with Tish, you've had a good time. Because the thing is, I like to do activities. I like to do things. So I like to make sure that if you're going to go out with me, we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good experience that you will always remember. Even if we don't move forward romantically, we've had a good time. You know, whether it will be go-karting or golfing or whatever it is, we're going to have a laugh. Because sometimes it doesn't end up becoming romantic. We just end up being really good friends.
And that's the underrated part of the dates as well. The actual connection that you have with that person. Because you could go on a date with somebody not necessarily romantically there with that person, but you can still have a good time.
But you can have a good time.
But I've been on dates where we haven't really connected in that way.
No chemistry.
Yeah, no chemistry. It's been bubbling. But we've, sometimes the date's been good, and sometimes they let the persons let that date because they don't fancy you. They let the date go through the floor. So I just feel like dating is just crazy. It's one aspect of the mental health for young men, and I think the provider role also depends on what sort of childhood you've had and what kind of men have been around you.
Agreed.
And what kind of friends that you have yourself. And that because you have some men that are like put pressure on other men to be like, you know what, actually, you need to be that. You need to be the provider. You need to do that. So the guy's like, all right, I've got to go out there. I've got to
make sure.
Okay, I've got to do this. I've got to make sure I can. Because the lady's not going to want me if I don't. Do you know what I mean?
It's true. It's true.
And that's where you see a lot of kids are getting into doing crime. Even just they don't even. Sometimes they don't even know why they're in crime. But they know that they need to have some form of money. Yeah, some of it is ambition as well.
Yes.
But they know that they need to have a good currency before this lady to actually, or someone to even want them. And I don't know if that's something that's even getting lost within this whole thing. Like, what are you showing the kids about at this conversation we've having, the discourse that I'm telling you about on YouTube? What are the kids thinking about when they see this? Do you know what I mean? If a woman's telling a guy he needs to earn 100,000, 20 years time, what is the young people gonna have to earn to get the woman's love and affection, shall we say? Okay, let's break this down because there's that element where the woman is requesting that the man should have a certain salary. Okay. Me personally,
I'm going to get in trouble with this one.
Yeah, but the thing is, you already established your different breed.
Mindset. So what I'm saying is that I understand the woman's mindset of the man needs to earn, but my question is, how much do you earn, babes? And also, as in the lady. Yeah. Because it's there's this post. Oh my gosh, there's this woman. She is, I would call myself plus size. Yeah. But she was a little bit more than myself. Okay. And she was like, oh, I like men that work out. That's what she was attracted to. Okay. Sometimes our expectations are unreasonable. That's my opinion. And to have a man earning 6 figures and you're on 1 or 2, I think that's a little bit unfair. I think that's a little bit unreasonable. I understand that's your preference. Everybody has a preference, and I will not knock it. But I do feel that if your expectations is for this person to be earning 6 figures, and
a lot of it is predicated on the fact that some women want to be kept. You know what I mean? They don't want to have. They want a guy to just.
I'm a just different breed because, boy.
That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying?
Kept.
But you're a doer. Some women aren't doers. They
Well,
want
this
to,
is where the growth mindset comes into it. I believe in. There's a woman that I like to study and read. Her name's Carol Dweck, and she speaks on the growth and the fixed mindset. I'm very much somebody that has a growth mindset. Let me break it down for you for a second.
Yeah, go.
So a fixed mindset is someone says, I'm not good at maths, and that's it. A growth mindset person will say, I'm not good at maths, but I'm going to keep practicing until I'm good at it. So that's me. I'm a very much like, I may not be good at something, but I'll be persistent and consistent and do my best to be my best.
All right. So let me just say from now, okay? I've definitely had a closed mindset on maths. Just saying. Yeah.
Just putting it out there.
Just putting it out there. Anybody judge me, yeah? But yeah. But anyway, go on.
But at the same time, is that going to stop you from learning how to make money or add money?
No.
Right. So the reason why you have the business that you have and you've budgeted and looked at the financial element of it, right? That's your growth mindset. You understand what I'm saying? Because you could stay there with a fixed mindset, I'm not good at maths, and then you may not progress into starting your own business, which is what you've done. So you have a growth mindset, sir. You don't have a fixed one. A fixed one would keep you doing whatever it is that you do on an everyday basis.
No, definitely. And I think the whole thing of wanting to grow as well was the reason why I started GM basketball coaching, because it was one of them things where I don't think it's good. I don't think it's fair that we have knowledge and we don't share it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair that we don't help our people to learn more.
Agreed.
about ourselves and our even some people say no, we shouldn't talk about slavery. Yes, we should talk about slavery, because then we should know what came before slavery.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the reason why I do my podcast is so that we can have a conversation about things that matter to us and things that are going to help others to find out where they are in life. And hopefully we don't have to have the cycle of young men have to be earning 150,000 just to have a couple of dates with a girl who might not even get with in the end.
Yeah. That's a whole nother. That's all I'm saying. That's a whole nother because, like I said, it really depends on the women that they are going for. Because it sounds like a certain caliber of woman.
You'll often find a lot of the times, and I know a friend of mine who's been dating perennially, like, all right, and he would say to you, and obviously it's probably might be down to his charisma, it could be down to the girls that he's linking, like you said. But he said a lot of the time, many of the girls that he's spoken to or met, they often say similar things, like in terms of what they want, what they want for a guy, whatever. And so, it's kind of like, because like to talk to you is like fresh air.
Oh,
right?
Thank you.
No, it's fresh air because it's like it's different. But then when you get to speaking to some ladies, it's like, oh, that one again.
Oh dear.
You can almost tell what's going to come for the next word,
Yeah.
And you often sometimes women repeat what they see. Oftentimes, not all the time, but they repeat what they see. Not all the time. I'm going to say that. Not all the time.
No, of
they repeat what
course.
they see.
If they don't got any other examples.
Yeah, exactly. And so they won't try and change it, right? And sometimes for the men, it's the same. They repeat what they see. They regurgitate, well, okay, that's where we're going to do it, whatever. But we as a people have to find a way to break that cycle.
Yeah, of course. I agree with you. Can we just tap into, because you did mention that you do basketball coaching.
Yeah.
And do you coach any young black males?
Yeah. I coach 2 at the moment. And I travel all the way to Woodford to coach these boys.
Wow.
Yeah. So I live in South. So I travel across the London line to get South people.
See, South will go over the river.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
We'll just travel anywhere you go. But it's in the range, right? So But so I coach this young man, and when we first started, he hadn't he bounced the ball,
Yes.
but he hadn't really, had any skills or anything like that.
Right.
But just to see him each week
Yes.
get better and better and better and better and better, and actually actively listening. Like sometimes he's so calm and so mannered. This is the first one I had, right? He's so calm and so whatever. Sometimes I'm like, you're right, and he's like, no, I'm fine.
Oh.
But he says, I'm just concentrating.
Wow.
So now I've learned that that's his business face.
Yes.
That's his one.
Yes.
If he's just a draw, he finds
Time
it
to
difficult.
work.
He's like, he puts on that face. I still check in on him, make sure he's all right.
Yes.
We had a session on Sunday. It was blazing hot, and I thought this boy was going to conk out, but he still did what he had to do. So for me, and then his cousin comes and trains with us now.
Yes.
And his little brother comes and came in this Saturday.
Right.
But just I just feel like them having another black man coaching them, and the black man's not got an ego. It's not a thing where, do you know what I mean? You must be like this, but be yourself. But when you're on the court, play your game on that court.
Yes,
assert yourself on the court. So a lot of that now is teaching him how to assert himself in that situation of basketball. And what I've said to him is, well, what you'll find is that a lot of the time through sport, it does bleed into some aspects of your life.
Yes.
You learn how to be competitive. You learn how
discipline.
to, take turn, discipline. Yeah, like learning new skills and
team.
having that growth mindset in a team. All this kind of stuff you can bring to your life. So I always say that basketball is life. And when I used to teach drama as well, it was like the same thing. So I'm a bit of a
no, that's all right. I said you're an entrepreneur. Only put it out there.
It's a Sami knife. But I used to teach drama. I used to say the same thing. Drama is life, because oftentimes you have to analyze your world, look at what things are happening, bring that into, the classroom or wherever we're doing our drama pieces. You know what I mean?
Okay, so just thinking back at that, what are your influences growing up as a black man in society? Because you're obviously now inspiring other young black guys.
The younger Gav would never have thought himself of being right here, right now. No word of a lie. But at the same time, younger Gav always like to help people. And it could be the most simplest of things like, don't worry, you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to make it. You know what I mean? But I didn't think I would, grow the cojones to actually have a business. Try and grow the business, meet people, go out and, and see people I don't know and whatever. Sometimes I still get anxiety about it. But the younger me, the people I had around me, I had positive people around me.
Yes.
My mum was not always friendly. She would say, yeah, you deserved it. But she did say to me, do you know what? I was the only child, right? So she would always say to me, do you know what, Gav? Don't wait for no one. Don't wait for no one. You make your own games. You don't have to play with nobody. It's all right. Do you know what I mean? And that gives you a sort of a backbone, a sort of, right, actually, if you really have to do something, you can do it.
Yes.
You actually can do it. You don't have to wait for nobody to inspire you to whatever.
Yes.
And that's what's kind of, pushed me on to the next level, really, of putting things into action. I don't like to say things and it doesn't happen.
Yes.
If I do, you'll hear me say, we'll see. I never say, yeah, this definitely this, and then it doesn't happen.
Okay.
Most of the things that I've said, I put to fruition. Some things haven't worked out that I've done. Had an online school thing that kind of didn't work the way I wanted it to work, but is what it is,
That's what happens. That's just life. It builds character. It builds character, and you know what not to do.
Yeah, definitely.
I've always believed that. Anytime I made so many mistakes, but you just learn what not to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you do the same thing, that's a sign of insanity, innit? If you keep doing the same thing and getting the same result, that's a sign of insanity, isn't it?
And which is why, us as black people, we need to learn those lessons, that lesson right there. Because we're doing the same thing over and over. We're living
and expecting a different result. That's what I'm saying.
We live in the stereotypes a lot of the time. Do you know what I mean? They're going, well, how come we're seen as this? No, man, you gotta come differently.
You gotta be that change.
Yeah, you gotta be that change and want that change too.
So how do you feel the stigma surrounding mental health affect black men's willingness to seek therapy? This is a big one.
It's a big one. So we spoke before about doing like a counselling course, right?
Yeah.
The same level as well. And for me, at that time of my life when I was doing it, it was like 2014.
Yeah.
There lots of stuff going on. Challenging things. I was in a workplace that I didn't really feel like I always fit in at the time. And but I knew that there was another another facet to me
Yes.
that I hadn't explored yet. And I always, like I said, I always want to help people in it. So it was one of them mad ones. But I thought, what is this thing, counselling? I always like this counselling thing. And so I started the course, and what I quickly learned in that course, because everybody's talking about what they've been through. And what I learned, there's a lot of people who've had barriers in their life from when they were like young.
Wow.
And so some of the real deep rooted things that were happening to them in their life came out within this course.
Wow.
So you're learning that other people don't have it as easy as you. If you feel you had it hard, other people have it harder than you.
Trust.
And it's sometimes some of the things are very trivial that have pulled things off track.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But yet they've faltered, or they've hit a wall. And this course allowed people just be like, just to almost be free with your hurt, your woes, or whatever. Be free of it. It's okay.
Yes.
Yeah. As long as we respect other people's woes, and we have to deal with them in a respectful manner, it's fine. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So, going back to your question, oftentimes the hardest thing for people, for young men, to go to therapy is because it's often a sign of seeing that they're weak. And that they can't deal with those speed bumps and stuff and those brick walls that get built up over trauma that's happened.
Yes.
We often self-medicate as well.
What do you mean by that? I know what it means, but just
so self-medicate is when you use other means to get through your trauma. So you might be drinking, it could be smoking,
or
it could be promiscuous behavior, speaking with lots of people. It could be just being belligerent and just treating people horrible. And it's that sign that only people, when you're hurt, you don't really know that you're hurt until someone else tells you you're hurt. Sometimes, you know what I mean? And even then, sometimes you don't even listen to them. Sometimes, but it takes a time where, I don't know, you step outside of yourself. I had loads of instances where I've stepped out of my own body and look at myself and go, hold on, you actually mash up right now.
Oh, you're doing astral projection, yeah? I see you. We'll talk about that later.
But it's the whole thing of being brave enough to take yourself apart and put yourself back together. And that's a hard thing to do, because that means you have to really realize what is going on, the turmoil, the anguish, the dad not there, the mum not there, the abuse that may have happened to you. You might have been beaten to a pulp when you were younger. How do you deal with that? Because now somebody in your workplace is shouting at you, and you're shouting back, and it's like, oh my gosh, where does this aggression come from? Do you know what I'm saying? How do you put that in a box and say, right, I'm gonna take that to somebody and let them have that, and be brave enough to give them that box and say, work me through this. Do you know what I mean? It takes a lot. It takes a lot.
It does. It does. Because even my profession as a teacher, hence why I went into teaching for a specific age group. So it's like 16 plus. I love that age group. They are the most funniest, the most vulnerable. They've got so much charisma, banter. I love them. But they're also hurting.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think my desire, my passion for them to do great and be great goes beyond the classroom. Do you know what I'm saying? So just me being an example as a teacher, teaching the subject that I teach, I want to be an inspiration for them. Do you know what I mean? Just because of that, because of their past traumas that they may have had, a bad upbringing or whatever. Do you know what I mean? They may have, So I definitely have felt that in my career of teaching of many years or working with young people.
And just bouncing off that, whenever I've done any form of education, I've worked in schools. I was a deputy head of year in 2 schools. I was a tutor. I finally became a tutor in the last school I was in. But for me, I was going to school. I would do what I have to do. But my tutor, she did make it a really safe space for us to have in our tutor. So although when we got older, we didn't really speak to her about the things we were going through. Of course, she still made it as something where you can come to me if you need it. That was me. Even now, she's still around. Like she'll still say, "Come and talk to me. Come and see you." I haven't seen her in years. Miss Lee, thank you very much. Oh. But and so I used to always try and make a safe space for my young people. Yes. And I feel like I like working with young people because it keeps me young. Yeah, so I don't look old and mash up too much, right? And 2, I learned so much from them. Yeah, I learned so much from them. And I don't belittle them. I don't say just because you're 15 or you're 14 or you're 12, you don't know anything. No. It's about respecting who they are, and in turn they will respect you. Do you know what I mean? And then when you give them the boundaries, when you need boundaries, whatever.
No, of course.
But yeah, I loved being ahead of year, man.
I love
that. Was
that.
The greatest thing ever. I still speak to some of them now. Some of them still, they text me or whatever, or they Instagram me. So, how you doing? You right? I saw one yesterday. He used to play basketball.
Oh my gosh.
I was randomly in some shop, sitting down, minding my business. Like, sir, you're right.
Oh.
So he calls me sir. So you can call me Gavin. You know, it's like,
no one's
hello, sir. You know what I mean? Still calling me so you can't get out of your mouth.
Yeah. Because you'll always be sir, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So just touching back on mental health.
Yeah, sorry.
And no, don't be. It's okay. And the access. That's okay. The access to get that support. So some people are not familiar with things like Mind and Better Help and things like that. Not that I'm standing here recommending them because that's my speciality. I'm just saying that's the top of my head. I don't really know a lot of services. How do you feel in terms of accessing that service? Do you feel that they're accessible and whether they're even welcoming to the black man? From what
I've found, of what I've had conversations about, different people, I think the people who they go to see are not from the same background as them. So that's a barrier in itself.
So we need more black therapists.
Yeah, we need more black therapists. So you saw my last episode in the Gym and Life Coach podcast,
my attention.
right? Yeah,
That's
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
So Jonathan, he was on my podcast, and he, I met him in a bar, like randomly. He was just talking about, the podcast. Oh, I'm a therapist. I'm like, what? You're a black therapist? And he said he speaks to male and females, but he said he primarily speaks to males, and some of the barriers are that it's not signed. Not a lot of it's signposted, and I think also when you do speak to some of these people, from what I've been told, sometimes you speak to some of these people, they don't feel like that they understand our lived experience.
Yes,
our uniquely black lived experience.
Absolutely.
And so that in itself makes it difficult for them to go, right, I'm going to get off myself, I'm going to go and see this person. I've had a lot of people and for different reasons as well, but some people who've gone to therapy, been to therapy a good couple of times, and they've never found the right person for them. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes it's that the therapy that you have is not long enough, so it might be 6 weeks, but then it's done.
Yes.
Then you have to maybe book again for like wait for another 2 months to get another person. Even that time when you're booking for that person, you're still hurting, you still mash up. That puts you off, so you don't go back again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you might self-medicate.
Oi.
You know what I mean?
You talk. And the thing is, I feel that men don't talk enough.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you know what it is? It's not just talking.
Go on.
It's talking to the right people.
Yeah, it's true.
Because if you talk to some people, it becomes an echo chamber, and you just end up everyone's saying the same thing, but no one's giving you the alternative version of what you need to hear.
It's true.
So it's talking to the right people. But talking in itself is good.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's good to talk and express yourself and talk about what you're going through. And I would advise people to do that definitely first of all. But speak to people who will give you an alternative view of things. I think that's we're not going to judge you, obviously. But they'll give you an alternative view about how you could deal with something, or maybe, how you came about your trauma even.
Definitely.
Because sometimes that is, you might see it one way, someone else can say, oh, well, maybe before this. And you go, oh, do you know what I mean?
It's true. So if you don't mind sharing, like, how can black men like yourself practice self-care to improve their mental health? So what are the things that you do, and what kind of things you have done that you would recommend? Yeah,
I'm a unique animal though.
Hey.
But, so I'm a bit of a unicorn in the sense that I think for me, being still is something I learned through drama. And I learned that, like, people think in drama you have to always be moving, but there's power within stillness. And I think in a chaotic job that I had, being still gave me that sense of
power. Almost.
That power. I'm recharging almost.
Yes,
that's being still. Then with the stillness, because now you're still, that means you can listen to your heartbeat. Yeah, and you listen to your heartbeat. Close your eyes. Just listen to your heartbeat. You'll be surprised how much it earths you. Yeah, and almost charges you to some degree as well. Then if you want to throw in some visionary stuff as well, you might want to vision what you've got to do for the next day, what you've got to do for the next week. You know what I'm saying? Then you can layer that with a bit of relaxing music. You know, a bit of chill hop for me sometimes. You know, keeps me going, tones me out. Yeah. Some people just like silence.
Yeah.
Some people just like silence.
Yeah.
We did this drill. We used to do this drill about this exercise in drama where we used to meditate. We used to lie on the floor on our backs. So we used to close our eyes, and we used to the teacher would just say, right, I just want you to just lie there.
Yeah.
And they would narrate us through it, right?
Wow.
They would narrate us through it. And she would say, listen to the sounds outside of this room. Yeah? Tell me what you can hear.
Just connect
with it. Do you know we could hear chairs, people moving their chair, people walking.
That's old
This is
school.
solid
I remember
concrete
that.
building.
Even as a child, I remember that in secondary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's old
You know what I mean?
school. Yeah.
You could hear people talking all of a sudden. You could hear, but it starts from being still.
Yeah.
Allowing yourself to be still.
And your mind to switch it off.
Switch off. And not worry about the things that you can't control. Because we have a thing called circle of influence, right? And so within that circle, that's all the influence you have. Anything outside of that, you don't worry about. Yeah? So you can bring things into your circle and that create like a vortex within itself.
Yes.
But then everything that's outside of that you can't control, don't worry about that. Don't worry about what you can't control.
Yes.
Worry about what you can control and how the differences you can make. Do you know what I mean? So for me, that's what I zone into. I go for walks.
Yes.
I go to the park. I love parks. Any park will do. That's me connecting to the earth, I think. Connecting back into...
Do you take your shoes off?
Sometimes. And I have taken my shoes off, falling asleep.
Them ones.
I wake up and think, what am I doing here? All the flies and insects. I'm like, oh my God, the insects. Get back home, I got bite marks over me. But no, I wholeheartedly... I do things that make me smile. Does that make sense? I do things that make me smile. I do things that are going to enrich me. So if that means sometimes I might take myself to the cinema on my own, or I might go to the theatre on my own, or I might just have a drink on my own.
Love it.
Do you know what I mean?
That's really good that you're comfortable with self.
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of people are not. Like I had a conversation with somebody recently, and I said to them that I go to the beach quite often. Like I will just drive out of London. My family know, like my kids know, mummy's gone. Okay. And I go to the beach and I just, like you said, I just like to sit in the sand. Yes, there are sandy beaches in Kent. I like to go sit in the sand. I just, just smell the air. It's just nice to get away from the city. And people was like, you do that on your own? I said, yes, sometimes it's nicer, because I could just do what I want to do. And also I'm not uncomfortable being in my own space. I'm great fun. Really am.
Crack yourself up, innit?
Crack myself up.
Yeah, I do a lot of
and
that.
Sometimes I sing, like, as you know, I used to sing, and I have a good time. But I'm very comfortable with people as well. I'm not uncomfortable talking to people.
Yeah, anybody, innit?
Always.
But I've got this face. That people always come and talk to me.
Really?
The other day, I was going to coaching in Woodford, walking down the hill. It's a big long hill we go to get to this park.
Wow.
It's like a 15-minute journey just to get to the court, right? After you come out of the station. Yeah, take a cab for real. Or camel. And this old lady just stopped me. And she just started talking to me. But she started giving me, she didn't just talk to me like, oh, blah, blah, blah. She could be food for thought.
I love that. I
love
that. Yeah, she probably picked up on your energy.
Maybe. I was like, I was getting the teachings. I was like, yeah, I'm loving this. We're having some banter.
I love that.
And some other lady came. She looked a bit weird, but some lady came. She knew the lady.
She come.
And then I was like, okay, I've got to go now. Kind of slid out. Do you know what I mean? I was already running late. I will be running late. So I don't want to be late for this thing now. So but I always get that. I would get homeless person will come and talk to me. And then we'll just be, I love that.
Talking. That happens to my daughter a lot,
I always get that. I always get it. There'll be a bunch of us. I will get the one to talk to.
It's always be the one. Because you're welcoming, isn't it?
Maybe.
Isn't it?
I don't walk around with a smiley face though.
You don't have to. It's not. And sometimes it's just what you put out there. Like it's your aura.
Yeah.
You know, it's your
Got a dodgy walk, I don't know.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. So just quickly, Erickson's psychological stages. Okay, we're just going to touch on this. Stage 1 is infancy, so that's from 0 to 1 years. Then you've got early childhood, 1 to 3 years. Then you've got play age, 3 to 6 years. School age, 7 to 11. Adolescence, 12 to 18. Early adulthood, 19 to 29. Middle age, 30 to 64. And old age, 65 and onwards. Okay? So, Erickson's stages of psychological development. So at different stages, you will develop trust versus mistrust. That's like your infancy. You're just learning, developing, exploring. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then you've got the autonomy, shame, and or doubt. That's the early childhood. Mm-hmm. Then you've got initiative versus guilt. That's 3 to 6. Right. School age, industry, and inferiority. Okay. Adolescence, that's identity versus confusion. So you'll find this age group, 12 to 18 years, this is when they become, I call it, it's also known as the psychosexual stage of their life cycle or something like that, where they start to explore and look at themselves and puberty starts to form, you know. Mm-hmm. Then you got the early adulthood, intimacy and isolation. Yes, but it's a big one because you've got a lot of young people. So this is my age group that I work with, or the 12, also the adolescents. But they've got a lot of young people that then decide to, you know, manage their friendship groups a bit differently and may have got a bit smaller. Do you know what I mean? Because secondary might have been really popular, then it starts to get smaller and smaller. Then middle age, generatory, I don't know how that word, and stagnation. And then old age, integrity versus despair. It's oh my gosh, my life is coming to an end because it's like I'm 65 plus, what have I achieved kind of thing. You know what I mean? We're not far off.
Yeah,
you know?
no.
It happens so quickly. How did
I get here?
So just thinking about that, and I think we also touched on it already in terms of how the stage that you were influenced by, the teachers that inspired you.
Oh, yeah.
And now you're inspiring others, working or worked in education, now working as a businessman. Okay. So
let me. Can I just touch on that again? Because I don't think I gave that the justice, right? So I had 3 main people I can think of, males, black males, who have propelled me forward, and one of them was he was a head youth worker, and when I was growing up, I didn't necessarily go to a youth club, but I went to one down the road, you know, off to Hudson. They was just like, come, you know, join us, whatever. And I used to go there, just to go there. Really, I didn't really do anything. I didn't know anyone. But this guy said, because he knew that I did drama, he said, I want you to teach drama.
Wow.
And I was like, what are you talking about? I don't know nothing about teaching nobody no drama. What are you talking about? And he kept saying it to me. I was like, this guy's not serious.
Wow.
I'm only 17.
Wow.
What do I know about, what do I know about, I'm not even 16, 17, but what do I know about teaching drama? How come I teach? People ain't going to listen to me. And every time I bring it up to him, he said, look, you're going to be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. So this contract didn't come for a long time, right? The check of money, right? It wasn't that much money. It was like £50, right?
Damn.
But I was like, damn, I got money.
That's big money.
And when I got it, I thought, oh my gosh, it's amazing, right? He's seen something in me. Still not believing in myself at the time. I was like, oh, I was still too young, right?
Yeah.
Second person was even before that, I had a basketball coach who he's passed away at the moment, but at the time now, but he was a hard-nosed, old-school coach.
Them ones.
But we had a moment one time it was a game. We had a loss. We played Dulwich College. We got our asses handed to us, and I spoke to this guy and I said, I said, I really want to play. I want to play.
Yeah.
He said to me, do you know what? I like you, Gav, because you've got heart. You don't always get the game time. You don't always, you're not one of the perceived favorites, his perceived favorites, right? But you always come. And that's what I want to see. I want to see heart.
I love that.
So the perception of heart in basketball is your desire. Yeah, how much you really want it versus how much you don't want it, basically, right? And I've used that within lots of my life, right? So how much I really want something, I'll put it into action. I will move it forward. Do I have heart? Do I really, really want it, or do I just want it a little bit? Do you know what I mean? So that's what I put to my kids who I work with as well. Do you really, really want it, or do you just like want it? And how much work are you willing to put in? Do you know what I'm saying? Let's not do nothing on the surface level. Let's do it deeply. Yeah. So he instilled that into me. There was a third guy, and that was the music side of me. So I do music. I've always done music. I used to sing. I used to have my own, had my own band, and I do production, produce music and whatever. And this guy was like, "You're gonna come and teach in this place." Wow. I'm like, I don't know how to run this studio. I don't know. I didn't know the system. The other person had left, and he wanted me to run the system. I was like, how am I gonna do this? If you see that the system, it was from proper old stuff. You wouldn't even think these things could even work together. He said, "Don't worry, Gavin, you're going to figure this out." And you know what he said to me? Go on. He said, he's put so much things in my plate sometimes, right? And I'm thinking, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do that. And every single one I knocked out, and I did it. But you know what he used to do to fire me up? It's something that I want to put out there, right? He used to say to me, his name's Katwana. I have to big him up, right? Wow. He said to me, "Stop telling me why you can't, and tell me why you can." So I was giving him all the negatives, right? No, I can't because this thing ain't gonna work, and this person doesn't come. Yeah. Stop telling me that. Tell me why you can. Change my mindset, because I was like, oh, right, I have to
see it there, growth mindset.
Yeah, you see it now. I had to start thinking, okay, wow, how can I put this together? Well, I can do this, and he's like, see, and I can do. Oh yeah, but then I can't do it, and he's like, see. I was like, yeah, do you know what? Bam, I'm gonna do this. And those are the three people who have really pushed me to be where I am. And I haven't always hit all my markers. I'm not going to say it like I'm perfect or I'm great or anything like that. But for a lot of the things that I've got to do in my life, it's usually down to another thing. And one other concept as well, sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
I wanted to say, when I used to be in one of my singing groups, we used to have a thing called Dark Side. And we had a family of singers and stuff, and some of them might be watching now, I don't know. But we used to really take ourselves quite seriously. So we work with younger singers, we teach them stuff, because I'm a vocal coach as well. So I used to coach them up and do other stuff and whatever. And the Dark Side model was basically, it was the things that you have, that you do, that you really like to do. Yes. But you've kept it in the dark and you haven't put it to the light. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's your dark side. Right. And those things are the things that what I'm doing now, putting forward to basketball, was always my dark side. The music was always my dark side. Some people never knew I used to do that. Wow. And I'm bringing it to the light now. And it's scary, and there's anxiety, fraught with anxiety sometimes. That, yeah. So I'd have imposter syndrome as well, to the T sometimes. So yeah. So
I get that. No, I get that, because even for myself, I decided last year to just step out of my comfort zone. It has been so scary. Yeah. But I said, why not? Like, even doing this podcast is so out of my comfort zone. Yeah. But I said, just do it, Tish. Yeah. Don't think about it. Just do it and just see how it goes.
When you asked me to do this, I know.
I know.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to do this. But
how are you feeling so far?
No, it's been good. It's been good. I like it.
You've done a great job.
Thank you very much.
You've done a great job. We're doing a great job.
You're doing anything to
now, let's ask you the last few questions, then we're gonna have to wrap it up.
Yeah,
okay?
Sorry.
Stop saying sorry.
Tangents, man. Tangents.
No, don't say so. This is your space. Don't worry.
Thank you.
It's an hour, but it's your space.
We run out of time, but it's your space.
Yeah. So in terms of mentorship, let me just touch on that. Yeah. What is the significance of mentorship for young black men in shaping their future roles within society, knowing our stereotypes, knowing that it's our black kids that are getting stopped in search? Yeah. So what do you feel in terms of mentorship? Years ago, there used to be street pastors. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I thought they were so good.
I think they still do stuff like that. I'm sure there's some stuff that they still do something like that.
Yeah. But what do you feel in terms of the mentorship, the significance of mentorship?
I think it's very, very important. I think to be a young person growing up, you can fall into many pitfalls. And like I said, to find your place, to know who you are, is probably the hardest thing first. To have somebody to be your cheerleader whether and anybody can be a mentor, right?
Yes.
But to have somebody who's your cheerleader, to let you make mistakes and can pick you up and dust you up and say, go on, keep going. I think that's very important. I didn't really have that when I was growing up. I had to kind of be my own sort of mentor, you know what I mean? But I know of people who have had great fathers, great mothers, trailblazing mothers. My mom's a trailblazer as well. Like she trailblazed, man. Like she's a G. You know what I mean? And it's only later in life where I realized, I appreciated that she's a G.
Yes.
At the time, I was really, she's just horrible to me. Yeah, I'm always getting in trouble, getting grounded. But the mentorship, I think, is so important because to know young people, young men need to know, young women need to know that they are kings and queens.
Yes.
Before anything else.
Yes.
And that levity. Yeah, sometimes they say heavy is the crown or whatever it is, right? Sometimes that can be something hard to live up to, and that's something why young people might act out because they know they're worth better than what they're putting out, right? But the mentorship is something that's so important to let them know that you are better than what you're putting out. You are better than this. You know what I mean? You being in class just because it's easy and you act out, right? Speak to the teacher later on and say, look, can I have some harder work?
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, don't let, those things be the thing that, you're seen as, you're known as.
Yes, definitely.
Do you know what I'm saying? But ultimately, we said this before, I said this before about being strong within yourself and love who you are is something that has to be learned and taught, and the mentorship hopefully should help that. And I just think that's very, very important to have on many different levels.
And how do you feel in terms of leadership, men and leading in the home or leading in society? What's your opinion on that?
I think it's very important. I think a father being in the home allows the whole thing to be, the cohesion of the family to be at, almost like be at one with itself. Do you know what I mean? You've got the equilibrium there, you've got the yin and yang, you've got the nurturing of the mum, and you've got the maybe the possible organization from the dad sometimes, the forthrightness. It's a bit of it's a weird one because unfortunately within our communities often the dads are not there, or and I feel like the dads are the anchor for a family. The dads are the anchor for the family, and there's so many kids who are hurting because their dads ain't there. Sometimes their mums ain't there too. But there's a lot of pain. I think we spoke about that before. And I feel like the
and trauma we said.
The trauma, of sometimes it's a yearning of the dad being around, and wanting to see them grow, see them every little step. So I watched the podcast. Oh my gosh, I watched the podcast, and it was I think it was I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy basically said he's got 8 kids, right? He's got 8 kids, and he feels like the kids have never wanted for anything. The person he was speaking to was saying, actually, but the kids are your kids. You got 8 kids, and although you feel like you've done a good job, and you most probably have, few of those kids are going to be wanting stuff that you can't give them, because you can't be there every single time for each one of those kids. He's also got 4 baby mums.
Was this on Yana Van Sant? Was it this one?
No, something else.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was when I said these programs where they review podcasts that's happened. But I was just like, but he was the lady was trying to argue that because of your trauma, he was like, I don't want to commit to a lady,
right? Okay.
But so what you've done is you've created broken homes within situations because you don't want to commit to a lady.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But he's saying, no, it's not. I haven't created broken homes. They're all fine. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But this is the perpetual cycle that is happening where people are thinking, I can just go out there and just do that. I'm important. I'm still there. I'm giving them everything they have because I have money.
Yeah, but
are you there? Are you nurturing? Are you emotional? Are you caring? Are you there saying, son or daughter, come, come and have my hug or whatever it is. Let me come and talk to you.
It's true.
Even just the thing of when kids act differently, when a mum scolds a kid to when a man scolds a kid, the difference is palpable.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so I just think that's just very, very important. And that watching that podcast has reminded me that it was just yesterday, and I was just like, oh my god, like you need to do more
I think, actions, man. I'm all about, faith without works is nothing. So you can have the faith, but you need to do. You need to do, because we can believe all we like.
Yeah.
But we need to actually start doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what we believe.
Yeah.
Gavin, we've come to the end,
I know.
I'm gonna have to do my little summary.
Go on.
My little Ricky Lake. Hello.
Yeah, go on.
My little Ricky Lake.
No, you're good at this. Go on.
Really showing my age now, innit? Same Ricky Lake. Some of the students, some of the viewers might be like, Ricky Lake.
Do you know how much old vernaculars I come out with? And they're like, sir, you're weird.
What?
I'm like, you're a chief. And they're like, chief, sir. What's the chief?
Chief inspector.
Chief Indian, yeah.
Remember the times when the buses when it was opened?
Yes.
Remember, I used to jump on them.
To jump on.
I said jump on, jump off.
Yeah,
graze up the knee.
Yeah. Mash myself a couple of times.
That was the best part of it.
People get dragged down the road holding the bar. Yeah, man. Yeah.
We have to run after the buses. Yeah, man.
We used to do this thing where we used to wait for the bus to go and then run after.
Yeah. It's like, why do that? But it's exciting. These kids missed out, man.
It's such a South thing. I think
it really is.
I don't think anywhere else is doing it. East and West and everywhere else. You weren't doing none of that.
They'd wait for the bus.
Yes.
And then us up south, we'd be like, we're so rugged.
Yeah.
So, on a positive note, socialization within Black communities can foster strong bonds, cultural pride, and a sense of belonging. Community support networks and positive role models play an essential role in countering negative societal influences, so helping Black men develop a positive self-identity and resilience against systematic challenges. So in summary, people, socialization has a profound and multifaceted effects on the lives of Black men.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Absolutely.
Totally agree.
I've actually written a book called Voices.
Yeah.
And it's daily words of affirmation for men specifically. And it's literally such an easy read, a small read, and it's free. I actually put the link in the comments. Yeah, you're not buying anything, it's free.
Where can you get
I'll send you the link.
Where can you ascertain the book?
I'll send you the link, and I'll put the link in the comments and in the description, because it's a free book. And I started to do because I want it to be free, like that kind of thing. It's just like a little, you just look at it and you just read the little affirmation, you just write little notes if you choose to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a small book. It's only like 20 words, but sometimes that's enough,
Yeah.
I'll see how people feel after that. But anyway, thank you so much for coming on my podcast. I guess I'm going to be a guest on yours, you said.
Yes.
So we're going to look forward to that.
Return the favour.
We're going to look forward to that.
Talk on my one.
Talk. Oh, Lord. Yes. We're going to talk too much.
This will be good.
Too much.
No. Let the cat out of the bag.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
But thank you again. You did an amazing job. We bigged up Mum and Auntie, didn't we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We sent them their love.
Valerie.
Yeah.
Mums. Auntie Judy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, all of that good stuff. I love it because I read all my comments, would you believe? And the good and the bad ones as well. Can
I just do some plugging?
Of course you can plug. Go for it.
Right. So please check me out on GM Basketball Coaching on Instagram. Please follow, all that stuff. And also check out the GM the Life Coach podcast. I'm also a life coach, so check out GM the Life Coach on Instagram. And
YouTube.
Oh, and YouTube as well. Yes, I'm on YouTube. I'm on YouTube and Spotify. So check out the GM Life Coach podcast on those platforms, please.
Absolutely. And all the links, all the contacts they're always on my comments, not my comments, my description anyway. So I'll make sure that we connect and make it happen, because we only connected last week?
Yeah. Last week.
I was like,
off the back of my one. How are you?
What's going on? I was like, hi, how are you? How you doing? So I appreciate you coming so quickly and swiftly. We just made it happen.
Yeah. I'm all about that.
Appreciate you. All right, guys. Thanks again for listening to Coaching with Leticia, and I look forward to you guys joining us. Look at my lips. I look forward to you guys joining me on my next episode. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Okay, bye.